here. Welcome to the Shipe Sports Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Shipe Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Matthew Shipe, joined always by my producer, Paul.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing today, Paul?
Not bad.
Joined again by Guillermo.
How's it going, Shipe?
Going good. How you doing, Guillermo? We are also joined again today by via Skype, Brad. Brad, how you doing today?
Hey, doing great, Shipe. Thanks for having me on the show again. Just want to give a shout out to my Maryland Terps. Nice W last night against Indiana at home.
They ended up winning. I caught
did.
it. Oh, okay. Very nice.
And also joined the studio, a little special guest, my dad, David Shipe's joining us. Thanks for joining us, Dad.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
No problem. All right, I'm going to take a little serious moment real quick. I want to give a little prayer out to my Aunt Kathy. She suffered a tragic loss. Her dad was tragically killed in a car accident yesterday, so I want to give out a prayer to her and to her family. I want to give a little moment of silence real quick, so we're going to do a 5-second moment of silence for my aunt and her family. All right, thank you everyone for that moment of silence. All right, let's get right into the show today. Today is our big MLB preview show, but before we get to that, me and Brad have a special announcement we'd like to make. Starting very soon, in the next couple of weeks, me and Brad will be hosting the Brad and Matt Golf Show. We are very excited about that. I know Brad is. Brad, what are your thoughts on the show coming on?
No, I'm really excited. You know, I love to talk golf and I love to talk sports, so I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we're excited for the show, and that should be starting in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned and let's look for more information about that show. All right, let's get what we're all here for today, the MLB preview show, the season right around the corner. Pitchers and catchers report for some teams 1 week from today. We're basically, 2 weeks away from everyone else reporting, and spring training games start less than a month, so we're almost, you think of baseball, you think of spring, you think of warm weather, everything you want's about to come around the corner. Super Bowl was over 2 weeks ago. Now it's time to get a baseball season.
Don't bring that up anymore, man. Come on. Let's just focus on baseball now.
All right, today on the show, we're going to go division by division. We're going to pick all our division winners, talk about what teams, what they've done in the offseason, how they added players they've lost, key players. We're going to pick a wild card. We're going to pick the playoffs. We're going to pick our MVPs, our Cy Young. This is an all baseball show. It's going to be a great show. All you baseball fans out there, you're going to want to listen to this show. Keep on listening. It's great. All you people who really don't keep up with baseball and sort of maybe want to start learning some stuff, listen to the show. Don't turn it off. Listen. This is going to be a great show for baseball, educational. You're going to learn a lot from us. So let's get right into it. We're going to go with the AL first. We're going to get right into the AL East. So, Guillermo, with your team being the AL East, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts on the AL East this year, your prediction, and how you think each team is going to do this year?
Prediction, it would have to be probably Baltimore again, winning the division. My Yankees, probably third or worse. Tampa would probably be in third. Boston would probably be fourth. And, Toronto will probably be second, fighting.
You really think Boston's going to be in fourth with the additions they have? I mean, they added two very good bats and fielders. You really think they're going to finish in fourth?
I mean, you never know. Anything can happen. I'm just telling you that right now. The key weapons and all that stuff, but they got to have chemistry first. I mean, going in spring training camp, they got to see and test them out and see where they fit in.
Now, I was discussing with Brad earlier today on the phone. We do our little phone calls to talk about what's going to be going on with the show today. And you're a Yankees fan. The Yankees were really quiet this offseason. There was really no big splash. I mean, the only person they really did was they re-signed Chase Headley, the third baseman. A-Rod could be coming back this year depending on what's going to go there, but they never really made a big splash that I thought like they would. With Scherzer on the market, they always go for pitching, and they didn't really make a run at Scherzer, but as I was pointing out to Brad, they found a replacement for Jeter, but people, national fans, we know that next year Desmond and Zimmerman are both going to be free agents. So could the Yankees maybe not made a splash on shortstop to maybe find a player for 1 year and take the chance on Ian Desmond next year? I mean, I know with the loss of Jeter, that's a big hole, but you could see the Yankees make a run at Desmond. I mean, we threw him $100 million. He said no, and the Yankees have the cash to put more out. So, that could be a possibility. But, I'm really surprised that the Yankees didn't really do much this year. I mean, I don't know what your opinions on that were.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised as well. They lost Kuroda, I think. He ended up going back to Japan, I believe,
Yes.
to go play there. And, yeah, CC Sabathia, I don't know if he's healthy. He said he's ready to go, but depending on his arm and previous injuries, we got to see about that. Nova, with his injury, he had a subpar season last year, but he wasn't back to his ways he was before, winning like 15 games. Jeterless as well. A-Rod, so it has some issues.
You also lost David Robinson, and that was a very big
and we
loss
lost
in the closer role.
Yeah, that was the
That's
future
who I thought they were
Mariano.
going to put the money on, and they didn't.
I mean, sometimes money's not everything to them. So, yeah.
Wait, what? Sometimes money isn't everything to the
I mean, if that's the case, they would have gone crazy and gave him like 150 mil and you're staying here for life.
I think we can all agree money wasn't a thing for them this year. I mean, we just discussed over the phone. I mean, they didn't make any splashes, and there were some good free agents out there.
No, they didn't.
It was very surprisingly. Like I said, I think they could be in the running next year for, honestly, Zimmerman and Desmond, which I would hate, honestly, to God.
And I would love.
Yeah, first of all, no one likes the Yankees. Well, let me restate that. If you're a Yankees fan, you love the Yankees. If you're not a Yankees fan, you hate the Yankees. So no one wants to see their players go to the Yankees. And the Yankees are all about money, and they can buy out your players. So if your players become free agents, the Yankees have tons of money to throw around, and they will buy your players. And it stinks, but that's the scenario, and that's one reason why the Yankees stay so successful. It's because they have the most money. So when some of the best players become free agents, they can continually keep talent floating around that club because they can just buy themselves, in theory, championships and wins. I would hate for Zimmerman to go to the Yanks, and also Desmond, because I like both those players. But we have to be realistic about this, and the powers that be, the Yankees have tons of money. Like, they can afford to do this, and they can afford to to take players off rosters when they become free agents with big contracts.
True, very true. Let's get into the Nets local team here, the Orioles. They lost Nick Markakis, they lost Nelson Cruz, but people are like, their offense. People need to remember they were without Machado at the end of last year. They were without Matt Witters, and also Chris Davis didn't play in the postseason because of his suspension. By the way, his suspension. Anyone who thought it was steroids, you're an idiot. He got suspended for Adderall, which is a thing that he actually applied for the year before and got approved. I don't know why he forgot to do it this year. I think that kind of hurt them because he was a big offensive power. But they may have lost Cruz and Markakis, but Machado, Witters will make up for that loss. And Machado, if he can stay healthy through the whole year, I love Rendon as a young third baseman, but Machado could possibly be the best young third baseman in all of baseball, and maybe possibly even be the best third baseman in a couple years down the road. I mean, that kid has the arm strength. As you know, as a Yankee fan, some of the stuff he's done from third base there. I mean, some of those throws were just
unbelievable.
He's halfway in the foul line, just still throws a guy out. But I think the Orioles are going to repeat again as division winners. Now, before I say anything, I may have another team from that division in the wild card, so just look out for that. But the thing I like about the Orioles is their starting pitching. They don't have a Scherzer. They don't have a Clayton Kershaw. They don't have a David Price. They have a bunch of guys who can work and get through innings. If they can get to their bullpen, the Orioles are very dangerous. Zach Britton is one of the best closers in baseball, and if they get to him, I mean, it's lights out for any team. I mean, they're that good of a team. Their pitching will grind it out. I mean, they'll allow 4 or 5 runs, but their hitting will be able to counteract those runs. And the pitchers, they just grind out 100 pitches, at a time in a game, and they can go long-term innings, which what you need out of a starter. You don't want a starter to go 5 or 6 innings and have to work your bullpen. No, you want a starter to go 7, possibly 8 innings, get to your closer, let him finish the game like he's supposed to. But I really find the Orioles are going to win this division again, and I think they'll win convincingly. I think it'll be over by maybe the beginning of September. Brad, what are your thoughts on this division this year?
I agree with both of you guys. I think the Orioles will win that division. You look at them late down the stretch last year. No Machado, no Davis. This year they're going to come back. I think their bats will stay hot, like you said. Weeders is going to be good for them, and with Machado coming back healthy, you got like their chances in a division that as of right now is questionable. Historically not, but as of right now, kind of a questionable division. Baltimore, I would say, definitely is the powerhouse in that division. I think they're going to win it.
I just got a little breaking news on my Yahoo Sports account that MLB is considering altering the strike zone for the first time in 19 years. No further details, but look out for that during spring training if they try something different. That could be very interesting. I don't know if they make it bigger or smaller. This could very well affect pitching right now if this happens.
So you say 19 years, right? You
Was
said
the last time they've done anything.
What did they do then? Do you remember?
I was so young. Maybe my dad could actually
Do you know that?
comment on that.
19 years ago, I think what they did was they tried to get to a true strike zone. But if you look, the National League had their strike zone, the American League had theirs. When they combined both umpires, because the unions now they're all together,
Right.
they just were trying to come up with a mutual strike zone that we could have everywhere. But to be honest with you, you can come up with a strike zone and say, this is it, okay? Belt to top of the knee,
Okay.
all right? But it's going to different because of umpires. Now,
Right.
if you get an umpire that the pitchers love, managers love, his strike zone is where they want it to be,
Right.
that's fine. Because you see you even hear some of the commentators, strike zone has not been there for this guy all night. You better throw it near the ground or 3 or 4 inches out.
Right. Right.
So you can do all your variations. The strike zone is going to be the umpire. He's going to get as close as he can, but the rule was 3 inches out, 1.5 inches in.
Okay.
Okay, it's a strike.
Gotcha.
Sometimes you would say, well, let me reach your back out across the plate. All right, you can reach it. That's going to be a strike for tonight.
Okay.
Not in Major League Baseball, but other places. A strike zone is going to be depending on, the umpire.
Right.
Whether they find them or not, you might see it solid and this is it.
Okay.
Something that's going to have to play out during the year.
So what it is now is what? From your belt to your knee? Is that what it is?
Well, basically, if you look at your belt
Yeah.
to the top of the knee,
Okay.
you look at Hunter Pence. It's funny. He wears his pants up to his knees. He wants that umpire to know, you call anything below this, you're going to get a look.
Okay.
I think National fans can all remember Drew Storen 3 years ago, that strike zone that somehow just, for some reason, with 2 strikes, it just shrank to where he had to throw it right in the middle of the plate.
I was at that game.
That was horrible. I mean, those two should have been, they were strikes all night. The same for Zimmerman this year. He had those calls in the 17-inning game. Those calls on Cabrera were horrible. I mean, I can understand why he got pissed this year.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, it was unanimously, we all picked the Orioles. Whether someone else makes the playoffs, we'll find out when we do our wild cards after the end.
I was just reading right here. They're going to alter the strike zone, or could alter the strike zone as a response of declining offense.
So make it more
they want to boost the offensive play up.
Well, you can alter the strike zone all you want. You still aren't going to be able to hit a Clayton Kershaw curveball. It looks like it's going to hit you and then hits the strike zone at the last minute.
So what is that? Does that mean that they put the strike zone, they make it tighter? They close it up?
They'll close it up more to where you're going to have to hit it, where you're going to have to throw it right down the middle. And it's basically going to be
They're basically
hit it
you're gonna
or
have to
miss it.
swing or get out.
I don't like that. I know people are like, oh, baseball, you don't score that many runs. But you know what? I love pitching duels. I love seeing Kershaw go against David Price. Kershaw will be now we'll see him against Matt Scherzer. We haven't got to see that before. That's going to be if those two go against each other, that's going to be a great matchup. That game could be like 1-0. As a Nat fan, I'm looking forward to that game.
Yeah, but I would think though. But I think most of maybe not the baseball. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of it might, if it gets more exciting, it might bring more fans in, which is more money, and that's probably what.
I mean, a 1-0 game is exciting.
It's exciting,
more
right?
exciting than like one team destroying the other team. You're just waiting for somebody to connect and
That's true.
score the winning
Like
thing.
the
You can
best
go
game,
all the way down.
the best game in baseball this year was that 17-inning game, Nats versus the Giants in the playoffs. My opinion. For Nats fans, it wasn't, but for baseball in general, that was a really good game. I don't think anyone can disagree here with that.
Yeah, I stayed up watching that game.
Yeah, I did
Was
too.
that score? That game was 0-0, or was it tied at some point? Or?
I want to say 1-1, two,
Yeah,
1-1.
1-1.
Oh, okay.
That was a game. Drew Storen could have redemption, but stuff happens. Matt Williams, rookie manager, maybe a veteran manager kept Zimmerman in there. We don't know for sure, but you learn from your mistakes. You're a rookie manager, and you got the best record in the NL. No one's going to go against what you said. All right, we'll get to the Nats when we get to NL East. We're getting a little off topic here. All right, we're going to go to AL Central Nets, where you got the White Sox, Tigers, Royals, Indians, and Twins. Now, this is where I have my upset pick. I have the White Sox winning this division. Now, I don't think they'll win it by, beginning of September. I think it'll come down to like a final game type thing. But here's the reason why. They go out, they sign David Robinson. They got their closer. They get Adam LaRoche. Now, they already have Jose Abreu, so you can either put LaRoche at first with his amazing gold glove, or you can put Abreu at first, and the other person's going to play DH, or you alternate them. So they have two really good hitting first basemen.
Yep.
They went out, they got Melky Cabrera, who... What are you mad about?
Nothing.
What are you mad about?
Nah, I can't. Not gonna say anything.
Melky, good average, good power hitter. And then they got the went out and just signed the pitcher. Now, Brad, you helped me out earlier. This name is a tongue twister for me. Jeff.
Smarja.
Thank you.
Oh, Samardzija, Notre Dame.
They went and got him, and
He's
he's
a wide receiver for Notre Dame. That's
Yep.
right.
he's a great pitcher. I mean, they got a new closer. They got him. They'll have Chris Sale at the top of the rotation. I mean, this is a dangerous team in the Central. And I mean, the Royals, I don't see the Royals really competing that much this year. I hate to say it, but they lost too much, I think. You got rid of Butler. They got rid of Butler. Shields is gone. You added, Kendry Morales, who is a good hitter, but he's getting past his prime. So, and the Tigers, you lost Scherzer. That is a big loss in their rotation. Verlander's not the same pitcher he used to be. David Price is now the number one on that staff, and we'll see how that affects them. Victor Martinez, they say he'll be back by the time opening day is, but how healthy he is, we don't know. Indians and Twins, for the next couple of years, they're going to bring up the end of that division. But I got Chicago winning this division. So, Brad, let's go with you first on the AL Central.
Okay. I think a lot of the stuff that you're saying, Shipe, is extremely valid, and it makes sense on paper. I just think it's going to take them a little bit longer to gel. I agree with you about the Royals. I think their magic is kind of lost. They had a special season.
They went all
year.
in. They went all in.
They went all in, and I think they're going to take a step back this year. But I do think David Price can still lead the Tigers. I have the Tigers still win this division. I think it's going to take the Sox a little bit more time to gel, and I have the Tigers winning this division.
Guillermo, what are your thoughts on the AL Central?
I actually got a toss up between Detroit and Cleveland, to be honest. Kansas City, yeah, their power or their Cinderella story went out last year, and they put up a hell of a fight. But yeah, I got Cleveland coming up and making a challenge for the division race and taking the division crown. You got a pitcher in Corey, was it Kubler? You got Brantley who can hit. You got Santana who can hit. Yeah, I mean, feeding off last season, I think they got the potential. Yeah, Detroit lost Scherzer, but yeah, like Price, he can lead you to at least 15 wins. You got Verlander who's always going to give you 10 or more. I just see Cleveland and Detroit fighting for the number one spot.
Well, Cleveland only lost the division by 5 games last year, and they added Brandon Moss, which will be a really good bat for them. Dad, who's your pick for this division?
I picked the White Sox, but don't sleep on Cleveland. Okay, don't sleep on Cleveland. I think they have a good manager, and he'll get them going in the right direction. So I'm gonna go out line and say Cleveland just to mix things up.
All right, not bad. All right, we'll move on to the AL West now, where we have the Mariners, the Angels, A's, Rangers, and Astros. On paper, I have Seattle winning this division finally. I feel like they got the right pieces this year. I think Nelson Cruz will add a big bat to that lineup just because, with Cruz in that lineup, you can either bat him in front or after Cano, and then they'll force a pitcher to have to pick who they're going to throw to. You can't walk both guys, and they're both amazing hitters, so you're going to have to pick one to throw to. Andrew Jackson, they got in a trade last year as an amazing outfielder. You got Felix Hernandez, who probably the best pitcher in the AL. Will, if this team, if they can score runs, they're going to win because Hernandez is only going to allow 1 or 2 runs a game, but the Nationals did beat him last year, which was awesome. They got Fernando Rodney closing games, which, one of the better closers in the league. So I think this will be the Mariners to lose. You also got the Angels where, they spent all this money on free agency a couple of years ago, and it really hasn't panned out for them the way they thought it to. I mean, Hamilton has been on a very downward trend. I mean, they have to hope Hamilton rebounds because, he's either a home run or a strikeout, which is basically what he's coming to in his age. Pujols will always be there. Pujols is Pujols. He's still one of the better players in baseball, but his age is getting up there. That's why I have problems with these long-term contracts is these teams are like, all right, we'll bring you here for 7 years, $300 million, but then after those 2 or 3 years, you start seeing a decline in their production. You're like, oh, crap, I overspent on this person. And their pitching, I think, will be a little skeptical. I mean, you have Jared Weaver, who's always going to be, he's the number one pitcher. He'll still be good. You got C.J. Wilson. But I think this team is going to come down on what their hitting is going to be. You have Mike Trout, who is probably the best player in baseball and will be for the next couple of years. I mean, he can hit, he can run, he can field. I mean, that catch he had against the Orioles a couple of years ago was ridiculous. I mean, he was halfway up the wall and made that catch. I mean, that's, it's unheard of. So I think the Angels, they'll come in second. I got the A's coming in third. I mean, they made a couple of good trades this year in the offseason. Billy Beane and Mike Rizzo connection once again. They got Tyler Clippard from us, which will be their setup man, which is a tremendous pickup for them. And I wish nothing but the best for Tyler Clippard. He's given us so many great years in D.C. I was not hurt by him leaving. He moved on to something else in his career, and I wish him nothing but the best. I hope they make the playoffs with him just because I love seeing Clippard in the playoffs. He deserves it. He's a really good pitcher. They added Butler from the Royals, which is another bat in their lineup. And they also went out and got Ben Zupertis from the Rays. They traded for him. So that's, A's, they may have traded some people away, but they also got it back. But I just don't think they did enough to where they're going to be in it. Because, I mean, pitching-wise, they got Scott Kazmir, Gray's the start of their lineup, but, could be trouble for them. But the A's are always a team that will do a trade at the deadline. They'll find someone to help them win. So I count them out now, but by trade deadline, I may be saying something totally different. And then I have the Astros and the Rangers, rounding up the bottom. Unfortunately, the Rangers, you have to see how Darvish comes back, how he's going to do after his injury, Fielder after his injury. So, I mean, they also have Adrian Beltre. So the Rangers could compete, but it all depends on how these players can bounce back from the injuries that they suffered last year. The Rangers were out, I think, Fielder for half the season, and that's really affected them. He's an offensive weapon. It's another guy they spent money on. So now, there you go.
And that's where his age comes into
Yep.
play.
So, first, let's go with Guillermo. Your thoughts on the AL West and who you got winning it?
I got the Angels barely beating out the Athletics, and then Seattle staying in third place how they were, and then rounding off with Texas and Houston. Just Oakland's always going to be there, but I see them like creeping up in the later stages of the thing to close in on that lead of the Angels. I think the Angels are going to win this by at least 5 games, make it a close race.
Brad, your thoughts on the West?
Well, let me voice some of my frustrations with Oakland. One of my favorite players, Cespedes, they traded, and I think I thought that was so foolish.
Well, he's with Detroit now.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
I I think the A's are going to take quite a step back. I think that was a talent that they're not going to be able to replicate. His natural ability to play the game in all aspects. In terms of his arm, in terms of his bat, his glove. He's just a great baseball player. I don't think they're going to be able to replicate that with what they picked up. But I do have the Mariners also making a very nice charge. They were a young team, and now with the hitting experience of Cruz that they have, I think that's one thing they really need to get over the hump is getting better bats, and they did. And the Angels just, even with all the money they've spent, somehow they just, I just don't see them clicking. They've been together for a while. Like you said, they've had Hamilton, they've had Pujols, and somehow it hasn't turned into the powerhouse that they're looking for. Now I'll give Trout tons of credit. He is a stud by all means, but yeah, Hamilton's getting older and Pujols is getting older, and you would think with age, are they magically going to be better this season? Personally, I don't think so. I do have the Mariners beating out the Angels first and second in this division, and then I have Oakland in third.
All right, Dad, what are your thoughts on this division?
Well, I agree with Brad up there. I think the Mariners could do it in the West. I think they could do it in the West with the Angels coming in behind them, and A's in third, and the other ones rounded out down near the bottom.
It'll be interesting to see what Billy Beane does at the trade deadline. It's funny. They came out with that movie Moneyball, and depicts Billy Beane as a very good GM. They were not kidding. This guy knows how to wheel and deal. I mean, even in that movie, he was wheeling and dealing at the deadline, trading away old players and getting new ones. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's a great general manager. He knows what he's doing. All right, so we're going to get into, so we got our division winners. Everyone's picked the division winners. We're going to pick our wild card right now. Now, my two wild card coming out of the AL are Boston Red Sox will be the first wild card, and the second wild card for me will be the Angels. And the best record for me in that division will be Seattle, second will be Baltimore, and then I have the third best record will be the White Sox. So that are my picks for the playoffs for the AL. Brad, let's show off your picks for the AL.
Okay, my two wild card teams. Shipe, I know you like to hear this. I'm putting the Sox in Chicago.
I thought you were going to say Red Sox.
No. Like I said earlier, I think the Tigers are already going to continue to win games. I think it is going to take the Sox a little bit of time to gel and get everything under control. Once they do, they are going to be one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs this year. So I do have them as a wild card pick, and I think the Angels just still have too much talent. So I also have the Angels as my wild card pick. So Sox and Angels.
And who's your best record, second and third for the division winners?
Best record, I'm going to go with the Orioles. I think with the Orioles being healthy, I really see them climbing. I think that's one thing that was holding them back last year and the year before. Machado has been battling injuries, and I think this year he stays healthy, and I think they stay hot. So I have the Orioles overall number one, and then Sox ahead of the Angels, and then Mariners ahead of Tigers.
All right. Guillermo, let's show off your pitch for the wild card.
Wild card will have to be Seattle and Cleveland. Was it the top three in the playoff race? It would have to be Baltimore, Baltimore, Angels, and Detroit as the 1, 2, 3.
All right. And my dad, who'd you have for the wild card?
Well, wild card in the East, I'll think the Red Sox. I'll go with the Red Sox, and I'm going to throw in Detroit.
All right. All right, now we're going to put the rest of the AL playoffs that we have up to who we have in the World Series, and we're going to shift gears to the NL. So right now my division matchup is Seattle, and I have the Angels beating Boston in the wild card. Then I'm going to have the Orioles against the White Sox. I'm going to have Baltimore beating the White Sox, and I'm going to have the Angels coming back in the playoffs to beat Seattle. So they lost them in the division, but I have them beating them in the Division League Series. And then for my World Series, I'm going with Baltimore. They're going to get over the hump this year, and they're going to be in the World Series. So my pick for the World Series out of the AL will be the Baltimore Orioles. Guillermo, let's go with you. Who's coming out of the AL for you?
Coming out of the AL, as much as I don't want to say Baltimore because I'm a Yankee fan, and I would hate to see somebody from our division go there, I'm probably gonna have to go with them. They got more power. They got more. Let's just say they got more weapons to play with, and I'd rather have them represent our division.
Brad, who do you got coming out of the AL?
Man, this is tough. I don't want to fall on board with you guys and take the Orioles, but I think they have a great manager. I really like what they're building, and last year we were all hoping for kind of a Beltway series, and that would have been amazing. You got like the Orioles' chances, but I'm just to throw a little flair in there, I'm going to go in a different direction, and I'm going to take the Angels. I think the Angels figure something out, and I think their bats get hot in the playoffs. I'm going to take the Angels, represent the AL in the World Series.
All right, Dad, Mr. Shipe, who do you have?
Wild card. It'd be Detroit and the Red Sox. The Red Sox will win the wild card, and then when you get the other groupsters in there, I'm just going to go right ahead and just say Baltimore will take the American League. They'll be the AL champs.
So there we go. 3 Baltimores and 1 Angels.
I'm feeling like Guillermo taking Seattle right now.
All right, before we get to the NL part of the show, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back momentarily.
From the Shipe Sports Talk podcast. Just wanted to let you know how you could listen to our podcast while you're on the go using an app called Stitcher. You can listen anytime, anywhere using the award-winning free Stitcher app. Best part is, when you stream our podcast or any of the other 20,000 available out there, there's no downloading, no syncing, or no wasted memory. It's on demand and on the go. So if you don't already have the Stitcher app on your iPhone, Android phone, or tablet, download it free today at Stitcher.com or from your app store. Add us to your favorites list, and every week when we put out our new episode, Stitcher will automatically update and have the latest episode of the Shipe Sports Talk podcast waiting for you. While you're there, it really helps us get our podcast noticed if you give us a nice review, rating, and thumbs up. We'll greatly appreciate it. Have a comment or question? Easy. Go to ShipeSportsTalk.com, click on the Contact Us tab, and there you'll be able to submit your questions or comments. We love hearing from you, so we'll be sure to thank you live on the air. You'll also find on ShipeSportsTalk.com the latest episodes, show notes, and other ways to find us on platforms like iTunes and YouTube. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the Shipe Sports Talk show. As you just heard, we went over an AL preview for the baseball season. Now we're getting to the NL, and we're going to start with the NL East, where your reigning Washington Nationals, reigning NL East champs, are my pick to repeat this division against the likes of the Marlins, the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies. Now, I actually have a order here that may surprise some people. Now, we've seen the Braves have dominated this division for the past couple of years. I feel like... Sorry for that.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I feel like we've had the Braves are going to take a really big step back here. And my pick for this division will be the Nats will be the winners. The Marlins will be in second place, followed by the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies are rounded out. Now the Nationals, of course, they're all over the news here. We all hear about the moves. The biggest move of the year had to be Matt Scherzer. They went and got themselves another certified starter in this rotation. It's possibly the best rotation in baseball. I got a nickname for this rotation. I call it the 5 arms of God. Because all these arms,
That's a good one.
all these arms are God-given talent, and these guys their arms are gifts from gods. I mean, they're the 5 arms of God.
So you're saying that they're kind of good?
I'm saying they're the best rotation in baseball. Is what
Are
I'm
you
saying.
saying they're cheaters?
You're obviously going to have Scherzer. In my opinion, should be the number 1 on this rotation. Strasburg, Zimmerman. It should be Scherzer. In my opinion, then Zimmerman should be 2. Strasburg should be 3, followed by Fister and Gio. I mean, Scherzer, there should be no reason he's not the opening day starter. They also added Escobar to play second base for this team with the loss of Cabrera to the Devil Rays, which I feel was a big loss because I really love Cabrera's glove. They added Casey Jensen to take over Tyler Clipper's role. They did lose Adam LaRoche at first base, which will be a big blow for his glove. But in doing so, Ryan Zimmerman will be your everyday first baseman. As we went over the second episode, Ryan Zimmerman, Mr. Nationals, will be back in the lineup, and his bat will be huge for this team. We missed it. I truly believe this bat was missed during the playoffs. I really wish they could have found a way to put him in the lineup in the playoffs, maybe change the lineup up a little bit because, he's one of the better bats on the team. He's more consistent. When he hits the ball, it's always popping off. I mean, what more can you ask for from him? Big change in the outfield is Bryce Harper will now be playing right field. Jason Worth will be going to left. That's to save Worth's legs a little bit because he's getting up there in his career. But the big question is, will Worth start on the DL or will he start in left field on opening day? He just had the surgery on his shoulder. He just got out of jail, too, so thank God. And they let him keep the beard, so that's always good. Can't let him lose the beard. That'd be horrible. So we have to see what this rotation does and if they make any midseason trades. I mean, I'm sure they'll get some offers for Zimmerman again, Strasburg. They'll get the offers for them before the trade deadline. And if this bullpen's struggling, you could see Rizzo working his magic at the deadline, getting a relief pitcher.
Where was Zimmerman before? You said he's going to be moving into the first base.
He was playing third base, but his shoulder is shot. He can't throw anything from third base anymore unless he throws a sidearm. If he tries to throw it overarm, it's going in the stands. It's going 10 rows back.
Yep.
All right, gotcha.
He can throw his sidearm perfect like it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Anyone else can't do that. But for some reason, he can. Rendon, I believe, will be the best player on this team in terms of position player. I mean, he's all-around talent. He can hit. He can field. I mean, he's gone from third to second to third. I mean, you put him anywhere he can play. Just like Zimmerman basically can play anywhere now. He can play third, first, and damn, he can play left field. I mean, he made some good catches last year while Harper was out. But Rendon, I mean, he can hit for average. He has he also has some power with him. I mean, he'll be batting second again, and it's a good. I mean, if Span gets on base like he should, and the way he played the second half, Rendon's going to get him either the third or he's going to get him home, depending on what Span can do on base. I mean, Rendon will produce RBIs and home runs from that second spot, which is what you want in your lineup. He can put the ball anywhere in the field. I mean, Span's on second, he'll put the ball on the right side of the field and get Span to third. Besides Harper, he was our most consistent player in the playoffs. Wasn't for him, we wouldn't have won the game because we wouldn't even won a game probably. I mean, his bat is amazing. Then I got the Marlins playing second. Now, this all depends on me as if Jose Fernandez, when he comes back. He was a dominant pitcher before he went down and had to have Tommy John surgery. But they added national favorite Michael Morse. He's still loved in D.C. They still play his old theme song in the seventh inning, Take On Me. They added D. Gordon from a trade from the Dodgers when the Phillies shipped Jimmy Rollins there. And then down to the Mets. They signed Michael Kadire. He's been having pretty good past couple years of average. The big thing with the Mets is the return of Matt Harvey. He was undoubtedly their best young pitcher they had. You got Zach Wheeler. No, I didn't take that from your notes. I already had that. Sorry. My dad's over here thinking I stole it from his notes. I didn't.
Trying to take credit.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes, and he's taking everything.
Yeah.
What's not the first time, though.
Kids these days. Gee.
I understand. Yeah.
But it all depends on what Harvey does in his return. If he goes back to his status, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then we get to the Braves at fourth. And I look at the Braves, and I see they lost Justin Upton, big bat. They lost Jason Hayward, big bat. They lost Gaddis, catcher, another big bat. Mm-hmm. And then you lose Irvin Santana, a big pitcher. I mean, this Braves team's in trouble. They're going to take a lot of sets back. And then you have the Phillies at the bottom, and the Phillies, with age is catching up to the Phillies. I mean, they had a great farm system the past decade, but the age is catching up to them. Howard, not what he used to be. I mean, Cliff Lee. I mean, their bright spot's Cole Hamels, and he's getting up there in age. I mean, Hamels is demanding money and everything, but Hamels he's getting up there in age. Yeah. So you're going to see a big drop. I think the Phillies are going to they finished last year. It's going to happen again. So we'll see what happens with this division. Brad, let's show your thoughts first on the NL East.
Well, you look at the NL East and the way it finished up last year, it was relatively tight for second place But the Nationals were by far the dominant team, and I don't see that changing this year, especially with the acquisition of Scherzer. So, let's be honest. Everyone's taking the Nats in this division. Yes, Nationals, and then whoever else. I guess maybe I'll take the Mets. I think the Mets might start grooving like they kind of did late in the year last year. I'll take the Mets in second, and then Philly and Atlanta are just bad right now. They are just bad. I'm sorry.
Nats fans love to hear that, right?
It's true though. They've gone. Philly has gone from the cream of the crop, and they're winning the division every year. And now they're on the bottom. We've kind of flip-flopped in a way with Philly, and it's going to be a while before they're able to compete for the division again. But I'll take the Nats number 1, Mets 2, and then I'll take the Marlins 3rd, and then who cares about Philly and
Spoken like a true Nats fan. I have a little stat for you talking about how the Nationals dominate the division. The Nationals' run difference was plus 131. The Mets were in second place. Can you take a guess on what the Nets' run difference was?
I don't know, maybe 35.
Is that a plus 35?
Yes.
Why don't you try lower?
Plus 3.
Plus 11.
Plus 11.
They were 120 run difference ahead of everyone else. And that just shows that their hitting was there, their pitching was there. They just got to translate that to the playoffs.
True. That's been our Achilles heel the past 2 years. We've gone stale with our bats in the playoffs.
Guillermo, your thoughts now?
I have to agree with Brad with everything he just said. I got Nationals 1, Mets 2, and then Miami 3, and then Atlanta and Philly, finishing it out.
All right, Dad, what are your thoughts on this division?
Well, I guess to round out with everybody else, I mean, you look at the Nationals first. Now, here's the key to the Nationals. Can Bryce Harper stay healthy the entire year?
Same for Zimmerman.
Now, Zimmerman, too, he's coming up. But now you've put Zimmerman in a position at first base where it's not as strenuous. Now, it's still a strenuous position, but not as strenuous as third base.
Yeah.
Okay? The thing that's not going to be much different is you're going to get some hot shots down at that corner, too. So it's not a problem there with Zimmerman at first. Worth going to left field, like you say, it's going to save his legs. And, they've been what old guys call, they've been knocking on the door the last couple of years. Now somebody got to open it up for them. And they just have to, last couple of years, they're a young ball club. Sometimes you get a young ball club in positions they're in, you have a tendency to tighten up a little bit. And you could tell that in some of their hitting last year in the playoff games. They were swinging at this, and, they looked at so many pitches out there that they hadn't looked at all year. So they can get all this. First place is there and beyond first place. Now you look at the Mets, second place. They get like you said, they get Harvey back, okay, and they've done some adjustments there to make them a better ball club. Marlins third, but you have to understand now the Marlins are still building around Giancarlo Stanton. They're still building around him. How he comes back from that injury depends a lot on the Marlins.
What happened to him?
Oh, that was
He got a shot right in the face. Like, it was nasty.
So he's a pitcher?
No, he plays right field.
batter.
No, he was a batter. He was in the batter box, and the fastball hit him right in his face. Like,
Best hitter.
he turned right into it, and it smacked him.
it's one of those things that you really don't want to see,
Yeah.
but a lot of baseball programs or whatever tell you they're not going to show it
Okay.
because it was not pretty.
Oh man.
So, and then you round out, with the Phillies and the Braves. Now they can fight for last place. I don't know which one would come in at the bottom, but the Braves had a fire sale. The only player they have that is a name player is Freddie Freeman.
Yep.
That's pretty much now they're going to build around Freddie. And you look at them, they're going to try to do what the Nationals have done. Let's get some young players in, see the farm system or whatever, go from there, build back up. Now, you talked about the Phillies. Okay, Howard's up there in age. But the good thing I like about the Phillies is Cliff Lee. Cliff Lee is still one of the pitchers that you like to go to the game and see him pitch. They get later in the season, there's a playoff team coming around that needs a left-hander. Look possible, if the Phillies aren't doing it, for Cliff Lee to change to one of those teams.
What's his contract looking like right now, though?
Well, so he can go out this year. I think this is last year on it.
Okay.
So if it's not, loss, or even if he goes, he has a couple years, there's not a big buyout for him. So it's more of a trade thing. And then if you get him, you sign him for the following year if he chooses to sign with you. So, that's rounds out the East.
All right, so let's move. I just looked on Cliff Lee real quick. It's $25 million this year. So he's still making money. That's a lot of money you're going to have to take in. But if, like he said, if you're a contender, you may need it. Billy.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Billy Bean. And also, as Nats fans, Cliff Lee and Cole Hamels are Nats killers. No matter how old they get, they'll always be Nats killers. We have a problem with Cole Hamels, and I'll admit that. As a Nats fan, I'll admit that. For people who don't really watch baseball or know about the Nationals, the reason we talk so much crap about the Phillies and Braves is the Braves are our Dallas Cowboys, and the Phillies are basically like the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what it is. That's the equivalent to us. Braves are our Cowboys. If we lose the Braves, just like the Russians lose the Cowboys, we're pissed off. We don't like it. They're our Dallas Cowboys.
The biggest rivalry for the Nats.
It really is the Braves.
Yeah,
For the past couple of years, it's been the Braves. They've been a thorn in our side.
Yep, without a doubt.
And the Phillies are like the Eagles. They're just a thorn.
But now I would say the Cards in the postseason are a thorn in our side.
Well, not really. Well, Cards and Giants.
Well, yeah, now Giants too.
All right, we're going to move on to the NL Central. You have the Cardinals, the Pirates, the Reds, the Cubs, and the Brewers. This division for me will be the Cards are going to run away with this division like they always do. I feel like the Cards are like the Nationals. They build from within their farm system. I mean, they didn't really try to stop Pujols from walking because they knew that they had a farm system where they could build someone up and put them at first base. So they had no problem letting someone like that walk because you lose him, you get someone like Matt Adams, who's not a bad first baseman and a really good hitter. I mean, they got Matt Carpenter at third base. You got Halliday in left field, who's still producing his age. They traded for Jason Hayward, which is going to produce a lot of speed, some hitting. You got Jason J playing center field. You got Wong at second, Padultra at shortstop, and Molina at catcher. This is a really, really good team in terms of hitting. They are, one of the best hitting team. Pitching, you're always going to have Wainwright. You have Lynn. You have Lackey. You have a young pitcher in Walker. I mean, this team is a complete team. I mean, they don't have the pitching like the Nationals, I would say, but they're hitting. In terms of hitting, they're a complete team. This will be a team to watch out for, definitely, in the Central, and to run away with that division. I mean, the Pirates and all them, they're good. Pirates, Cincinnati, they'll always be there. They're the thorn of their side, but Cardinals, you look at their lineup, there's nothing wrong with that lineup from top to bottom. That lineup is amazing. I got the Pirates finishing second. You have Andrew McCutchen, who will always lead that team. No matter what you have, no matter what injuries they have around, he will always be the leader of that team. They got the pitching Garrett Cole, who's a former number one pick, who's finally blossomed into what they hoped he would. You got A.J. Burnett, who at his age is still pitching some of the best baseball of life. You got Francisco Liriano, and a lot of people don't remember him, but when he was with the Twins, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. He kind of floated around for the past couple of years. He finally found a home with the Pirates. He's back to his old form. You got Alvarez, who plays first base, who has a bat. Harrison, third base, who also has a bat. I mean, this should be a very dangerous team, maybe to the Cardinals, but I don't think they'll pose that big of a threat. You got the Reds. I mean, you have Johnny Serrato, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He challenged Strasburg for the leader of strikeouts last year because this guy has nasty stuff. I mean, he was a Nationals killer as well in terms of talking our team. He was a killer for us. You got Joey Votto, who was hurt for he was hurt for part of the season last year, and that's a big loss to him. He's a big part of the lineup. I mean, he was an MVP candidate no more than 2 years ago. You got Bailey, who's a starting pitcher. You got Mike Leake. So this is going to be another. You got Billy Hamilton, who's probably one of the best young center fielders in the game. And this guy is averaging 50 stolen bases a year. Todd Frazier playing third, who's going at it for the Silver Slugger for third baseman last year. This is going to be another good team. This Central could be one of the best division races we see, but I still see the Cardinals pulling out. Then you got the Cubs. They went out and got Lester, but I feel like they need more than that. Give them a couple years to keep on building around Anthony Rizzo, Sterling Castro. I mean, they were one of the teams that were in contention for Zimmerman, but just didn't go through. But look for the Cubs to, not this year, but maybe the next 2-3 years, build around. Then you got the Brewers. I mean, you got Carlos Gomez, you got Ryan Braun, but it just seems like they just seem to be falling apart. I think their Achilles heel is pitching. So I got St. Louis winning that division. So, Guillermo, let's go with you with the Central.
I would have to agree exactly with you. I have Cardinals winning this one by a huge margin. I got the Pirates coming in second. And I think it's going to be exactly the same standings as it was last year with Milwaukee, Cincy, and Cubs. Just Cardinals, their pitching could be maybe second best to the Nationals, if not third best to the Dodgers. Also with the Giants as well, with Bumgarner and them. But yeah, that's how I say it. Cardinals, Pirates, Brewers, Reds, and Cubs.
Brad, show your thoughts with the Central and the NL.
Okay. I think you guys are right. You know, the Cards have made winning just a habit. That whole organization does a good job, both in the regular season and in the postseason. So look for these guys to be extremely competitive again next year. You know, with the additions they've made, that division doesn't have a big opposition outside of Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh hasn't done enough, in the offseason to really make it so that they can give St. Louis a fight. You got to think the Cards are going to take this division for sure, with Pittsburgh second.
Dad, what are your thoughts on the Central?
I think pretty much what you guys are saying. Cardinals will take it. Pirates come in second. And the Cubs, now you got to understand, the Cubs now have what I say is a good manager. They have Joe Madden. Joe Madden knows how to win. Okay, so I mean he did it in Tampa, and he did it with young kids.
Yeah,
when they went through their World Series. So just give him a couple more players there, and you can see them give it a little run. But depends on what happened early in the season for them. If they come out, winning and stuff first part of the season, you could see a race for the top three early in the season. But I think the Cardinals will be there at the end. The Pirates, the Cubs third, and then the Reds after that, and then the Brewers at the bottom.
All right, so there we go. All Cardinals. I mean, that says it for itself. All Cardinals. Next is going to be the NL West, which I think is the most intriguing and will be the most difficult division to win this year. You're going to have the Dodgers, who will always be there. You got the Giants, who never go away. They're a team that knows how to win.
The defending champs.
Yeah, we found that out the hard way in the playoffs last year. Then you got the Padres, who are basically in the win now or nothing mode. They went out and they made some really good trades, and they need a win now. This is what they went out and they got some older players, a couple of young players, upper 20s, lower 30s, but they're in the mode where we're going all in. The Padres, they went out and they got Justin Upton, Will Myers, Matt Kemp. They got a whole new outfield is what they did. And those three players alone, that's the heart of your lineup right there, those three. And then the pitching, you went out and they went Shields. I mean, that could be number one in their rotation. That was the biggest free agent person they got. But people were like, oh, they got Shields. That's what they. People seem to forget. Cashner is a hell of a pitcher in that rotation. So is Ian Kennedy. Yeah. I know the Yankees know Ian Kennedy. I know you all regret that.
Yeah, very much.
But this team, San Diego, is going to be very dangerous. But I still have the Dodgers coming out on top in this division only because the pitching for the Dodgers is, you got Clayton Kershaw, probably the best pitcher in baseball. Maybe. I think this year Scherzer will give him a run for his money. We're going to give him a run for his money for the NL Cy Young. Only because I say this because I look at a stat that says when you go from the AL to the NL, you improve dramatically because you don't have to deal with that DH. You go from the DH to a pitcher. So you get that extra, hate to say it, but you get an easy out. I mean, pitchers really aren't the best hitters in baseball, except if you're Gio Gonzalez for the past 2 years, hit a home run every second game of the season.
Really?
2 years in a row, he's hit a home run in his first game.
Oh, wow.
He's averaging a home run every first game of the year.
Has there ever been talk about getting rid of the like making it the same for both sides?
No,
It'll never happen.
not
No.
really. I like it the way it is.
Okay.
I think it's interesting. Then you got Zach Greinke, who will always be a great pitcher. So, I mean, the Dodgers, I feel, are going to win this division. And I was debating back and forth between second place between the Giants and the Padres. And I came with the Padres coming in second, the Giants third, only because I feel like Sandoval is going to be missed with the Giants. I feel like it's going to be a big loss to them. I mean, he was a great third base when we saw that in the Vision series. I mean, this guy, for a big dude, he can play third. He can move. I mean, that boy can move. He can hit. I mean, he killed us with that double in the ninth inning. God forbid that ever happens again. So, I mean, I got the Dodgers, then I got San Diego, and then I got the Giants. And then at the bottom, you're going to have you're going to have the Diamondbacks and Colorado fighting out for the bottom of the lineup. So those are my picks: the Dodgers, Padres, and Giants. Brad, let's go with you first.
Okay. Yes, look at San Diego, Shipe, and they've made some really, really nice moves in the offseason. They are definitely in a win now mentality, and they're looking very good. But I still think the Dodgers just have too much. I think their pitching is going to be too strong for anyone in that division to beat them. So I'm taking the Dodgers. But yeah, I think the Giants are going to take a step back. I hope they take a step back because last year. So I'm going to take the Padres too, just like you have. But yeah, I'm holding a little bit of a grudge against the Giants for knocking us out and for winning last year. I'll give them credit, but I don't want to see them again in the NL. I do not want to see them in the playoffs or the Cardinals. So, let's not even give them a chance. Don't even put them in there. I'll put them third, Padres second, but the Dodgers are going to win that division.
Dad.
Oh, me? I must have fell asleep for a minute or so there. At the West, if you had a coin, you could flip it head, tails, or if it stands straight up in the middle between the Dodgers, Giants, and Padres. I'm from the old school, so I think Dodgers take it. Giants come in second, Padres third. But the Giants and the Padres are going to fight for that second spot. Okay, and then you have, Colorado and Arizona, which are still trying to build from within or whatever they can do to get their programs back the way they were a few years back when they were contenders. So I have the Dodgers winning that division.
All right, Guillermo, let's go for your picks.
I got exactly the same thing as Mr. Shipe. I got the Dodgers winning it with the Giants and Padres fighting to the end to see who actually goes and picks it up. It should be an interesting one for them. And then I was looking at it. It could be like coming down to the end, like with the Padres. If they don't win it this year, it could be done with. You got to remember with Kemp, he's always had an injury during the season. I'm not saying he's gonna get hurt, but I don't want to see him get hurt either.
But, he was healthy last year and he got back to form. So if he can stay healthy, he'll be dangerous. He was a 30-30 player.
I mean, yeah, he was, but there's always that what if factor. Upton also got hurt as well, or it might have been his brother. But you just got to see. But I do see them. I do see the Padres and the Giants fighting for it, with the Giants taking it second.
All right, there we go. We got our division winners from everyone. Now we're getting the playoffs. For my NL wild card, I was going back and forth on this all past week. I couldn't figure out who to pick, but I'm going to go with. I actually just made a last-second pick again, change. I'm going to go with San Diego as my 1, and I'm going to go with the Giants as my 2. I feel like they're going to have 3 teams from the West. I feel like all 3 of those teams are going to make it. And then out of that, I'm going to pick San Diego to advance past the Giants with the one-game playoff, and then I'm going to have the Nats will be the 1, Dodgers 2, Cardinals 3. I'm going to have the Nats are going to go get past San Diego, finally getting the NLCS. They're going to go against, Brad's going to hate this, they're going to go against the Cardinals. And
Don't scare me. You're already scaring me. I don't want to hear it. I don't.
I'm going to have the Nationals beating the Cardinals. And it's going to be, for me, a Beltway World Series. Up 95, down 95.
I can already tell when you pick the Orioles
versus the Nationals. Battle of the Beltways. Something we will never see in football.
That's true. Has there ever been?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Has there ever been a battle of the Beltway, but for like playoffs or something like that?
No. We did have the Subway Series about 10, 15 years ago where the Mets and the Yankees played.
Okay.
And you could take a Subway. So that's their version. It's a Subway Series.
Sure.
Ours is Beltway Series.
Okay, but it never happened though. It never, other than regular season, if they ever played each other, I don't know if they do or not. But
they do. They do a 4-game span where it's 2 in Washington, 2 in Baltimore.
Okay.
What I really liked was what the Yankees do sometimes is they'll do the morning game at the Met Stadium, not a morning game, excuse me, like a 1 o'clock, and then a 7 o'clock. And Yankees, I would love them to do that here. The only problem is 95.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. Driving you crazy.
All right, Brad, let's hear your pitch now for the playoffs.
Like I said, I had the Cards in the Central. I think the Pirates will make the wild card again. I think McCutchen is just too good. He will get his team there again. And I have them going against the Padres. So I got Pirates, Padres in the wild card, kicking the Giants out. Get out of here, Giants.
Yeah.
And then I have the Padres winning that, and then Dodgers playing against St. Louis, and then I have Nationals versus the Angels. So let's not make it a Beltway series. So Nationals Angels.
All right, Guillermo.
Wild cards, I would have to take Pittsburgh and Giants, with the Giants winning simply because they know how to win in the postseason. 1, 2, 3s, obviously it's going to be the Nationals 1, Dodgers 2, or Nationals 1, Cards 2, and Dodgers 3. All I see out of it could potentially be I'm gonna have to agree with you, Shipe. It's gonna have to be a Beltway series with Nationals. I mean, Yankees fan, but home team, I'll have to go for the Nationals.
Thank you. Now we can just change the jersey you're wearing.
No, it's
jersey.
okay.
All right, Dad, your pick now.
Well, mine will be the Nats, Cardinals, Dodgers winning the divisions, and I don't know. Sometimes I like to go with repeaters. Pirates and the Giants as a wild card, but maybe this go around, the Pirates won't have to face Bumgarner. So they'll beat the Giants, and then, which the Nats would love because they have pretty good experience against the Pirates. They do well against them. And then let the Cardinals and Dodgers fight it out, and that go a full series, and it'll come down to the Cardinals and Nats, and then the Nats will finally get the strike zone in the latter innings. And you know what? It'd be great for television for Nats in Baltimore.
Oh yeah, the ratings will be through the roof.
Yeah, then baseball would love that.
Right.
So that's pretty much mine.
So here we go, World Series picks. I'm going to go with the Nationals over Baltimore, 4-3. It's going to be a 7-game series. And, yeah, I got the Orioles. I got the Nationals winning 4-3.
You heard it here. He has the Orioles.
No, I got Nationals. 4-3 Nationals. Brad, who do you got?
Let's go 4-2 Nats. Nats over Angels, 4-2.
Yeah, I agree with that, 4-2.
That's all right. Dad?
Well, I'm a Nats fan because I'm an old Senators fan, so you love the teams out of D.C. So, Nats over Baltimore. I used to be a Baltimore fan, but that's the only reason I claimed that is because the Senators left town. So you had to go over and see Baltimore, but now the Nats are in town. That's your team. So Nats over Baltimore. Say 7 games. It's a good rating, good money series for everybody.
For sure.
There you go. You hear it first. Everyone here is on board for the Nationals. Paul, I know you're on board for the Nationals.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. All 5.
Well, I don't know.
All right. If it's going 7, who's the game 7 starter?
Scherzer.
Strasburg.
I was thinking Strasburg too.
Brad, what do you think? Game 7 starter. Who you got?
It's too early to tell. it's way too early to tell. I'll
Rourke.
go Zimmerman.
Rourke.
No.
All right, real quick.
I'll take Zim.
All right, real quick. We're gonna go over our awards real quick. Just the MVP and the Cy Young. Just name your AL, NL real quick.
I don't know who that is. No, that might have been me.
Okay. For me, the AL MVP will be Mike Trout. I mean, he's the best all-around player in baseball. For my AL Cy Young, I'm going to have Felix Hernandez. I mean, he's the best pitcher in the AL. I mean, he has the best ERA, the best strikeouts. I mean, you can't deny him. NL MVP, I had someone I told you guys earlier, but looking at going over all these divisions, I'm actually changing my pick to Buster Posey, I think, could win the NL MVP. I think he's one of the best hitting catchers in baseball. He has a great glove, and I think he could be a wild card to win that MVP. And for my NL Cy Young, like I said earlier, when you come from the AL to the NL, your pitching improves tremendously. Your ERA goes down. Your strikeout goes up. So, Matt Scherzer, you're coming to D.C. We brought you here to win. You better win a Cy Young while you're here as well. So he'll be the first national player to win the Cy Young. Won't be Strasburg, won't be Zimmerman, will be Matt Scherzer.
Wait, so
What are we paying them for?
A national player, National League player's never won a Cy Young before? Is that what you said?
No national player has won a Cy Young.
Oh,
or
national. The team.
national,
Gotcha. Okay.
They've never won a MVP or a Cy Young.
Okay.
So Scherzer, I think, will be the first one. Brad, let's show of your awards.
I'll take. This is. Are we doing AL first? Is that what you want?
Yeah, let's do AL and NL.
Okay. I'll take Trout. Right. AL MVP. I mean, you know, the kid's just hardworking. He's a stud. So I'll take Trout, and I'll also go with Hernandez. You know, King Felix is only getting better. I like him for the Cy Young, for the AL. But as far as the NL goes, MVP for the NL. Man, I would hate to see Posey get it. Sorry, Giants. I know I'm going hard on you. I'm hard on the Giants this time. But you know what? I'm gonna give the Cy Young to Kershaw. I just think that he is on another level, and I love Scherzer, and I hope he comes in the rotation and absolutely kills it, which I think he will. But I just think Kershaw is on another level right now. I'm gonna give the Cy Young to Kershaw, and then let's go with Rendon. I'm gonna take Rendon for the NL MVP. I think his game is only getting better. He's growing out.
If you could see my dad right now, he is fuming because you just took what he said earlier before we even started the show. Before you came in, we were talking about it, me, him, and Guillermo, and he literally said Rendon.
It's all right.
Were you listening to us somehow?
Good minds, right? Like minds.
He was just pretending his thing wasn't working.
Rendon and Kershaw for the NL. Sorry, Mr. Shipe.
That's all right. That makes no difference to me.
All right. Guillermo, let's go with you.
All right. AL MVP, Derek Jeter. No, I'm just joking. It's gonna have to go with Trout with me as well.
Real quick, Jeter probably has a better chance of winning that than A-Rod.
Oh, no doubt. Cy Young for the AL. Tuffy. I'm gonna go with Price. Since he moved to the one, like you said, I think he could actually spark it up. MVP for the NL. I would have to go with McCutchen. Giving him a battle and everything, I think he can actually put in a race. Cy Young, either Kershaw or Scherzer.
You got to pick one. You can't do that.
Kershaw's nasty. Scherzer's just as nasty as him. He probably dethroned the king. I'll have to go with Scherzer.
There we go. All right, and the last one of the day, Dad.
Well, everybody said all my picks. So. I mean, American League MVP Trout, Cy Young, Hernandez. National League MVP McCutchen. And the Cy Young, I'm going to go with Bumgarner.
Wild card there. That's actually
No, I
that's
don't
not
think
that
that's
bad
really
of
a
a pick.
wild card.
That's not that bad.
That's one note you guys didn't get off my pad.
That was on the
We had to leave you one.
See, I'm not worried about Bumgarner because that was the only pitcher we beat in the playoffs.
That's true.
That's the one where Game 3 comes around. We're like, oh, we're gonna get swept. They're putting Bumgarner on the mound. Nope, beat him.
No, this year he's learned how to field bunts.
Yeah, go to first. Don't go to third. My dad can vouch for
Just
me.
hold it.
On that entire play, I'm pretty sure I woke up the whole neighborhood because I was screaming my ass off, just saying, "Ramos, get home, get yourself home, you slow man." Ramos ain't the fastest dude, and he had a hamstring injury, but the bull got it home. All right, everyone listening today, you listened to our pitch, you heard everything. Do you have any more questions about us? You want us to cover anything until the season starts? You can tweet us. You can actually. I'll let Paul do all that. Paul, go ahead and do your thing.
You can tell them. They can tweet us at Shipe Sports Talk. You can send an email to us at shipesportstalk@gmail.com. There's also a form on the website www.shipesportstalk.com. See, I got that now. I've said it about 1 million times. I can say it without stuttering. And yeah, so I mean, there's multiple ways. Where else? Twitter, Facebook. You can any way you want to send in the questions. We'll be happy to address them.
Also, there's still a lot of openings left for the Shipe Sports Talk Fantasy Baseball League. Brad, you still have to get your sign up in.
Yeah, just take my time.
I'll give you my notes.
I already got it.
So, anyone interested in doing the Fantasy Baseball League, message me on Facebook, message me on Twitter. I'll get you the link to it, get you all signed up. It's just for fun. I mean, even if you don't know baseball, this is a good way to learn baseball because, I mean, you have to research who you're going to draft. I have one of my buddies, Chris Cordova. He doesn't know a thing about baseball, but he's going to do it, and he's actually going to do research. He says he's going to look online and everything, so we'll see how he does.
Yeah, I don't know much about baseball.
I'm letting you know right now.
I'll be doing it, so.
If he wins this league, I'm quitting anything related to baseball ever. Some guy who's never watched baseball wins it, I'm done.
So I'll put that up on the website too. So if anybody needs the information, some of it will be up on the website. But feel free to contact us.
Next couple of weeks, also look for the NCAA tournament bracket to go up on Yahoo. Like I said, the winner of that will be able to come in, be a guest host on the show. Also, we don't provide airfare and hotel fees, so if you're out of state, we'll do it Skype like what Brad does every week. And also look forward for the next couple of weeks for the Brad and Matt golf show that's coming up. We're going to get that rolling. So we'll talk more about that show later on. So we're going to keep on covering baseball. This isn't the only time we're going to cover it. The season hasn't even started. They haven't even gotten to Florida yet, Arizona, wherever they're doing their training at. So get ready. Season's getting rolling, 7 days away for Nationals. Some people start the 22nd of February. So, I mean, it's coming close. It's catching up to us real quick. So get ready for that. Next week, we're going to go over free agency in the NFL, who our top free agents are, and where we think each free agent will land. We're going to go over team by team, get to everyone we can on what every team needs the most. Of course, the Redskins need a quarterback. But anyway, Brad's just shaking his head.
I knew he couldn't hold it in. He couldn't hold it in.
I think the Titans need a quarterback as well.
Yeah, I love RG3 to death. You know that, right?
Quarterback.
Congrats to RG3. He announced that him and his wife are expecting, so congrats to him.
Where did
Nice.
he announce that on?
Well, you would know. It was on Twitter.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I got blocked.
That's right. I thought for a second there, it was just like a thing that he did that blocked everybody.
No.
It was just you.
No.
What did you do?
He probably heard
Shipe
Shipe Sports Talk.
I honestly, I really don't remember what I said to him. I'm not going to get into it. It's not that big of a deal to me. The only thing I'm going to say is I really wish he wouldn't take fans' comments so seriously because as a Tennessee Titan fan, I saw the downfall of Vince Young because of that. I mean, he got booed literally out of the game, and he went missing for 2 days because no one knew what was going on with him. So,
Wow.
well, my suggestion to RG3 is don't take the fans' comments seriously. Just rub it off. You're a pro athlete because if you take it seriously, you're going to start down that path. And Vince Young isn't even in the NFL anymore, and he's not even 30. So all I'm going to say, RG3, is don't take that path. Don't let the fans bug you. do what you need to do and just show them on the field that you're the real deal. That's all I'm going to say to them.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Was that good, Brad?
Hey, you don't gotta send it my way.
I'm also here too.
Brad can read his tweets.
So everyone here for today, myself, Paul, Brad, Guillermo, my dad, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for listening. Look for us on Stitcher and iTunes. Download, rate us, comment, do everything you can. Get us going.
Yeah, give us a rating and a review. That would be awesome. That actually helps us out a lot. Helps the podcast get up on the ratings boards, what have you. So.
And we all appreciate it. Send us comments and questions on the Facebook page and everything. So for everyone here, have a great evening, and we'll see you next Thursday, 6:45 p.m. for NFL coverage.
Maria Sharapova, be my Valentine.